Stadium, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And the 73rd meeting a moment ago. The Alabama Crimson Tide, ranked #1 in the country, undefeated. But they have lost their last 6 in a row to this bunch. The Auburn Tigers with a 5-6 record coming into this game, but they have never lost to the Alabama Crimson Tide in Tuscaloosa. Alabama won the toss. They have elected to defer to the second half, and that means that Lee Tiffin will kick off. Vern Lundquist, Gary Danielson, Tracy Wolfson with you on a murky late November afternoon. Tristan Davis, #9, grabs it at the 4. Bounce down as he gets to the 20-yard line. Marquise Mays, #4. Make it Mark Barron, #4. Double numbers here. Cody Burns is the starting quarterback. The sophomore has thrown for 937. Starting lineups brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Ziemba, Green, Bosley, Berry, and Pugh up front. Rod Smith, Montez Billings and Dunn, the wideouts. McKenzie, the tight end, and Mario Fannin gets the start at tailback. First down from the 20. It's Fannin. Gets a crease on the right side and moves it out near the 25-yard line. Defensively for the Crimson Tide, and already a few words are exchanged. It'll be Greenwood, Cody, and Dederick up front. The linebackers, Reamer, McLean, Hightower, and Brandon Fanning. And in the secondary, Arenas, Woodall, Johnson, and Kareem Jackson. Nick Saban, second-year head coach at Tuscaloosa. 2nd and 5. Right side, Fannin. He's going to get close to the first down out near the 30-yard line before Dante Hightower makes the tackle.
Well, it's interesting. Both teams here have had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. I suspect, though, that Alabama had their minds on a little bit more than just this game, where Auburn probably, they're all in this game. Already we've seen Auburn comes out with an unbalanced.
First down, 10, Auburn. Tristan Davis is in at a wideout, I formation again, as they go from under center. Here's Burns, right side, mix up. That was intended for Rod Smith, number 80.
And Rod Smith blew the assignment. Now remember, we all know it, it's well documented. Auburn, because it's going to be a corner blitz here, we'll show, and Cody Burns reads it right, Rod Smith does not. Auburn started out in the spread and have even been practicing on Sundays to get back to their old offense from a year ago when they take the ball under center.
They go from the spread now. Ben Tate, number 44, is on the field. Five on the play clock. Gotta hurry. They beat it. Pitch left, Fannin. We welcome you to the opening moments of the Iron Bowl, Auburn and Alabama. This is the opening series of the game. Auburn has picked up 1 first down. They are looking at a 3rd and 5 from their own 36-yard line. Cody Burns, the quarterback, across the middle, caught for the first down. That's Robert Dunn, number 3, and Auburn has picked up its 2nd first down in the early going. That's a gain of 10. Burns to Dunn. It is a murky, not cold, but a murky November afternoon, 58 degrees, and the forecast for cloudy skies. Had heavy rain overnight and into the morning hours. This is the 73rd meeting between these two. Only the 7th meeting ever in Tuscaloosa. Alabama has never defeated Auburn in its home city. First down and 10. Burns rolls out and throws it too high, incomplete, out of bounds. Vern Lundquist, Gary Danielson, Tracy Wolfson, and the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to watch here at Auburn because last time we saw them against Tennessee, the game that we did, Vern, they were all spread, obviously, and now they're so much different. So as I watch these plays unfold, I'm not sure if Alabama even knows exactly what they're going to get at each snap. And Nick Saban builds his defense around tendencies. I'm not sure he has any idea early what Auburn will feature in this game.
2nd down 10. From the eye. Burns, draw play. Mario Fannin, who gets the start at tailback today. And he is jammed up. It'll be 3rd down and 10. And a quick note for those of you in Alabama who joined us at the kickoff. Georgia Tech did prevail over Georgia 45-42. They put on a ground game for the ages, did Georgia Tech, in that win. Well over 200 yards rushing in the second half alone.
And now Alabama has, and their stout defense, has Auburn exactly where they want them. I don't believe Alabama thinks Auburn has any chance to beat them if they have a bunch of 3rd and longs in this game.
And they're looking at 3rd and 11 here. Cody Burns, the sophomore, drops back under pressure, darts out, and throws it right. That'll be incomplete. It'll be the first 4th down of the ball game. Rod Smith, the intended receiver.
If you're going to play defense for Nick Saban, you must be aggressive. He just will not allow his defensive backs to sit back and allow them to move the chains down the field. And right there, 3rd and long, aggressive defense by Johnson.
On 4th down, Clinton Durst is on to punt, and the always dangerous Javier Arenas. 5 career punt returns, 4 touchdowns. That is a school record, and he's got 2 of those 5 this year. Durst, line drive, bounces at the 28-yard line, and Arenas is going to let it limp inside the 10. So a very effective punt by Clinton Durst. Senior day at Alabama, only 9 scholarship seniors. The stars, Antoine Caldwell, the center. Rashad Johnson, the safety. And the 3rd-year starting quarterback, John Parker Wilson.
He graduated in August.
The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by The Home Depot, John Hancock, Chick-fil-A, and by Budweiser. Bryant-Denny Stadium, 92,000 plus on hand for the Iron Bowl, the 73rd meeting. Here's an Alabama team, I think fair to say, unexpectedly 11-0 at this point of the year, and an Auburn team that is struggling 5-6. How did Alabama get to this spot?
You know, one of the great things about college football is there's a lot of different ways to win, and Alabama's doing it the old-fashioned way. They're playing power football, and then they have a difference maker at wide receiver in Julio Jones. Watch for them to try to hit Auburn deep early in this football game. Auburn needs to make it a football game, and maybe they can get into the heads of Alabama and say 6 in a row. What do they got? Some hex on us, guys.
Alabama, of course, needs this win plus a win against Florida next week to get a shot at the national championship. Auburn, on the other hand, having won 6 in a row in this series, needs a win to avoid their first losing season since 1999. On 1st down, a 2-yard plunge. We'll look at the lineups presented by Chick-fil-A. John Parker Wilson, career leader in yards and touchdowns in Alabama Crimson Tide history. This is a very good offensive line. Smith, Johnson, Caldwell, Davis, and Davis up front. Julio Jones is one of the wideouts, along with Mike McCoy, 2 tight ends, and the 1 running back is Glenn Coffey, who's over 1,000 yards for the season. John Parker Wilson backs up. That one is tipped, and it's incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 10 from the 7-yard line. Defensively, as Antonio Coleman got a hand on that one. This is a fairly good defense. Coleman, Tez Doolittle, Senderick Marks, Goggins up front. The linebackers are Stevens, Josh Bynes, and Evans. And the secondary, Gerard Powers, McNeil, Zach Etheridge, and Walt McFadden. 3rd and 9. From the spread, John Parker Wilson, Julio Jones comes in. There's a tandem to the right. Wilson wants to throw from his end zone. He'll have to tuck it and run. And he is far short of the first down.
That ball came out. I don't know if his knee was down or not.
Looked like Michael Goggins was there, number 49. And Alabama 3 and out.
See, that's the smartness, though, of John Parker Wilson. You can't force it down coming out. You got a good defense. You're playing against a struggling offense. You have to make sure coming out. Nothing wrong with a punt early in the game.
That brings on P.J. Fitzgerald, an average of 42 yards. Robert Dunn is back to receive it. He's perched between the 45 and 50 of the Auburn Tigers. Fitzgerald, this is fairly short, a fair catch called for and taken at the Alabama 49-yard line. That's a 37-yard punt. Nothing on the return. Underway from Tuscaloosa, the Iron Bowl.
When you've only won 5 games at Auburn going into the Iron Bowl, it's not a successful year. And we don't look for moral victories. We don't look for excuses.
No, I don't think anything needs to be said. I think everybody knows the magnitude of this game and what everything holds with it.
I mean, we've been playing these guys since we've been here 5 years, and they got 6 years on us.
Our fans love this game. It gives them bragging rights. I mean, they've had bragging rights for some 2,500 days now, and they never get tired of it.
Definitely important for us to go out and play well and come out with a victory. I mean, it'll mean a lot to us. It'll mean a lot to the legacy that we're trying to leave here, that Bama was back.
John Parker Wilson, that was the celebration in the wake of the overtime victory at LSU, 21-14. So here we are with Cody Burns, the starter now. And, of course, the most publicized firing of first-year offensive coordinator Tony Franklin at Auburn. But since that firing, the Auburn Tigers are 1-4. And they've gone back to a much more traditional offense. Here's Burns under center. Play action, rolls out, lobs it out. It's caught by Gabe McKenzie, number 83. And let's spend a moment with Tim Brando in New York.
Thank you, Vern. Florida goes up on Florida State in very wet conditions. Percy Harvin takes the direct snap, goes in from 9 yards out, a 9-play, 65-yard drive. Florida State has since kicked the field goal. Texas Tech is leading Baylor early, and Boston College looking to win the ACC Atlantic up on the Terps. Back to you, Vern.
All right. Thank you, Tim. Florida Gators' 4th straight wins versus Florida State. And we'll see them next week in the SEC title game. This is Rolando McClain making the tackle on Mario Fannin. Well, Franklin came in, much publicized new offensive coordinator, going to run the spread. And he was fired midway through the season. This is when he was fired after evaluating where we are at this point. Best interest in the Auburn football program to make the change.
Well, I went through something like that when I was in college. We ran the wishbone for the first 3 games, and one of the reasons it didn't work was because I wasn't a good wishbone quarterback, but we had to revert back. It's hard. Believe me, it is really hard. You have to install your offense week by week, piece by piece.
Here's Burns back across the middle, dropped.
See, that's that aggressiveness. You just must be aggressive if you're going to play.
Derek Winter was the intended receiver. It'll be 4th down. You see, with Tony Franklin, 4-2 without. And the numbers have improved slightly. But the chaos has left. Tommy Tuberville told us earlier this week it wasn't working in practice. It wasn't working in the games. And I was afraid I was going to lose my players.
Right.
And a few of his staff.
I think he was right. Oh, what a punt. First one was a rugby, and this one's sky high.
And it's over the head of Javier Arenas. And Durst nails Alabama for the 2nd time. Well, the early star of the game is the punter. 7:36 to go, opening quarter. Clinton Durst has pinned Alabama back inside the 5 for the 2nd time, or inside the 10. And 9 seniors for this Alabama team. For more on the senior class, Here's Tracy Wilson.
That's right, Vern. This senior class may be small, but they have made a huge impact here. They've been through the highs. They've been through the lows. Head coach Nick Saban saying this senior class is going to be, in my mind, the group that sort of turned it around because they bought in. Their commitment and the perseverance they've shown has had a huge impact on the change that has been made here in 2 years. This senior class, guys, has never beaten Auburn. Senior Rashad Johnson telling me yesterday a win today would add to the legacy they are trying to leave, and that is that Bama is back. Vern?
All right, Tracy, thank you. From the 5, first down and 10. Hand off Glenn Coffey, number 38, and he runs right into the middle linebacker, Josh Vines, number 17.
Yeah, Trey Blackman was the projected middle linebacker for this Auburn team, but Vines has stepped up and done a nice job. Now, said there's a lot of pressure in this game, but I didn't expect I'd choke first. Okay, I said there's a lot of pressure on Auburn. I meant Alabama. It's been bothering me since I said it. Of course, the pressure is on Alabama.
It's not that I don't listen to you, but I didn't notice it.
Well, you know, we talked about how to set up a pressure point in college football. What you do is you find a great player. This time it's Andre Smith, and you ride the guy. It might be a tailback, could be a quarterback. Usually it's a wide receiver. For this Alabama football team, it's the left tackle. There's been no one in the SEC that's been able to stop this guy. And when they run the ball left, they could pretty much depend that they're going to have a successful play.
Well, they've got a 3rd and 2 here. Let's see if they go left. Under center is John Parker Wilson. They will come right. And they get the first down plus. Coffey to the 22.
Well, the great thing about a running offense is that you can get defenses leaning one way and then attacking both sides, and then off of that you can set up and tight end blocking and then tight end misdirection passing game. That's what drives these linebackers crazy. When do they go to the tight ends, and also when do they go deep?
It's first down. Here's a play action and a comeback pattern. Oh, no, it wasn't either.
Tight ends.
It is the tight end.
Yeah, well, you just know it's going to happen. You've got two playmakers. This kind of reminds me of that old Washington Redskin offense that Gibbs used to run. You set up those tight ends, you bang, you bang, you bang, and then you just give them the ball and keep those linebackers honest. And that's how you'll be able to run the ball. And then, now, the interesting thing is you can't do this without a dynamic wide receiver. And they've got one in Julio Jones because Auburn must commit a safety and a corner to him.
They'll come right again. Big hole. Here's Coffey. Out to the 47.
Auburn's linebackers are somewhat undersized. They're built, this defense is built to defense spread teams. Look at that blocking. Look at that hole. You got Caldwell, Johnson, Davis blowing it out, and Coffey. Another one of those 1,000 yards rushers for Alabama. They've had 9 in the history here at Alabama.
Well, he is over 1,100 yards for this season. We saw him against Kentucky rush for 218. Here's the toss. Coffey going left, and he is jammed up and dropped for a loss by Michael Goggins, number 49.
Yeah, you know, you can see that Auburn had to be leaning to their right or Alabama's left. Now, so far early in this game, Alabama has been breaking that tendency and running right. They try to go left in Alabama, and Paul Rhodes, their defensive coordinator, says, we know you're going to run left beside 71 sooner or later, and they were ready for that play.
Loss of 4, 2nd and 14. 3 split wide right, 1 to the left, and John Parker Wilson out of the spread. It's Auburn sending 3 defensively. There's the pass. It's caught at the 41-yard line. The catch made by number 15, Darius Hanks.
Yeah, and Jim McElwain said, I asked him yesterday, who's been coming on for you? You know, what guy would you circle? And he goes, you know, Darius Hanks has been doing a nice job for us. Look at that catch. Spinning around, coming back, and making the play. You know, that's another one of those passes that we talk about all the time. There's McElwain right there, offensive coordinator. He wears his glasses just like I do.
He could throw the ball, too. Yeah. Quarterback at Eastern Washington.
Uh-oh.
One of the things that this Alabama team has not done much is give it up. They're +6 in turnovers.
No, most of that, though, is because they've had the lead and they've not been having to kind of force and kind of strain to do things. Now, that time Wilson and Caldwell probably is, veteran players on this team and have been working together a while. You wonder how that one got dropped. I was down on the field where, it was a little, like you say, murky here.
Right.
It's a little slick, and I bet the ball sometimes gets slicks down there from that kind of wet turf.
We've got a window here where no rain is expected. It rained heavily overnight and this morning. More showers this evening. Up the middle. And that's going to leave a 3rd and probably 7. Let's go back to Tim in New York.
All right, Vern, the theme of the day, teams that lack motivation to win being upset. Kansas here. Going up as Todd Reesing hits Kerry Meyer. This was with under a minute to play. A 26-yard pass for a touchdown. Jeff Wolford can't hit this 54-yarder. So the Fighting Man Geno's beat Mizzou, who's already representing the Big 12 North in the Big 12 championship game. Back to you.
Ooh,
it's one of the toughest things about the 2 division parts of college football now conferences is when you have 2 good teams on one side and 1 not so good team on the other.
John Parker Wilson caught. Wow, Julio Jones knew he was going to get popped in the back.
Yeah.
And Gary just talked about this talented young man from Foley, Alabama.
He is, and he's absolutely fearless. He's had his big games in the big games, and this time he runs right into coverage, and he had a big hit that time coming from the backside by Powers. I think John Parker Wilson thought it was a man coverage, and it actually was a zone coverage, and he led Jones right into Powers.
Time has been called by the officials. They will measure to see if Jones got the first down. Now you see the numbers for Julio Jones. Had the big game at LSU.
Right.
7 for 128 in that one. Well, smidgen. Let's see. They're at the 29-yard line. It would be a 46-yard field goal. Lee Tiffin's long for the year was against Clemson. Nick Saban said, we're going to go for it.
Yeah, Tommy Tuberville is right on the line there looking at this, and he thinks that they got a good spot. I wonder if he's thinking about challenging this, because he's feeling that was a real generous spot on that play. I saw him just going right down the line and straddling it.
Well, he's talking about it.
Well, he's just trusting that the replay official. Yeah, it looks like he might.
Tuberville always seems to come with a wry smile.
He was standing on the side. I didn't even recognize him before the game. He called me over and he says, oh.
The Auburn head coach has requested a timeout to challenge the spot on the field.
The always popular Tommy Tuberville,
yes,
especially here in Tuscaloosa.
Now let's take a peek at this. The yellow line is in the box right there in the thing. Ball is, well, you know, that was pretty close, I think. It was definitely between the 30-yard line and the 29-yard line. They couldn't have been that far off. Maybe the length of the football off, maybe. That's splitting hairs. You know, I think, Vern, what's key here, and Tommy Tuberville knows it. Remember, the Alabama coaches told us how key it will be in this game to get up early because they don't feel Auburn has that come-from-behind potential. I think Tuberville knows that also, and he's willing to use a timeout here to keep Alabama from getting this very short fourth down play. Complete.
Okay,
forward progress. I'll tell you, maybe move the football back a foot.
A football.
Maybe a football. Maybe a football. But I'm telling you, he is sensing the same thing that the Alabama coaches are sensing, is how early scorers can really play in this football game. You know, a lot of teams are built to come from behind. This Auburn team isn't. In fact, they're not even built to come from ahead. They had 4 games where they led by 10 points that they lost in the first 8 games.
Here's Matt Austin.
After review, the ruling on the the field stands is called. It will be 4th down.
Yeah, see, that's the tough part. I mean, like I said, it's splitting hairs. It's how do you judge whether, that should go back a half a football, a half a yard? It's hard to argue.
So Auburn charged with a timeout. And it will be 4th and about a foot and a half.
Remember, for the replay official, if it's not obvious, he goes with the call on the field.
James Allison is our replay official today. And after all of that, it'll be 4th and a foot for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Julio Jones goes wide to the left. Double tight ends with McCall and Walker and big Andre Smith to the left side. They've also got a superb center in Antoine Caldwell.
Yeah.
And the guards aren't bad.
No, they're come on. It's Alabama, and they run the ball well, and they've had a lot of experience. Now, this is, in this case, it's usually been a John Parker Wilson quarterback sneak. Let's see what they do.
4 rushing touchdowns in the last 4 games for John Parker Wilson. He appears to have it. And he splits the difference between Marlon Davis and Antoine Caldwell.
Well, we were at that LSU game when they had that big quarterback sneak for a touchdown for John Parker. This was about the same situation. So funny watching John Parker Wilson grow as a player. It's one of the things when I took this job and came into this conference, really I wanted to do is follow guys get better as they go through their career. And following John Parker get better is kind of the fun of watching this conference and him grow.
Well, he was 13-13 as a starter until this year. Tack on 11 wins in this season. Here's Wilson. Tipped away. It was intended for Nikita Stover, and it's knocked free. Let's go back to the studio for this Liberty Mutual update. Here's Tim.
All right, Vern, it would be a quagmire in Tallahassee. Florida goes up 14-3 at Tim Tebow connects with Aaron Hernandez for a 7-yard strike. They're just underway in the second quarter. Now that, Vern, would be a frog strangler, wouldn't it? Back to you.
Whew. It does not look pretty. The Gators have averaged 53 points per game since their loss to Ole Miss at home.
Tebow might win the Heisman just for his speech.
I agree. And there's the run by Coffey, tackled by Nico Thorpe, number 15. That's a gain of 9.
Well, this is really interesting how Alabama has self-scouted themselves. I believe this. 2 weeks, they've taken a real long look at themselves and said, you know what? We're going to run the ball the other way. We really are going to run the ball the other way. Now, Vern, I asked each coach we saw yesterday, I asked them 2 questions. One about this game and one about Florida. Nobody cracked, did they?
Well, one guy.
We can't say that. It's off the record.
Yeah, you're right. 3rd down and 2 feet. Left side this time. Whoa! And it's going to be 4th down again. And this time the need a little longer than the previous 4.
I think that was Zach Etheridge that got up there, the free safety in the hole. And they're going to have to take the points here.
Lee Tiffin, whose father earned everlasting fame in this game in 1985 when Van Tiffin kicked a 52-yard field goal to win this game over Auburn. This is his son. This is from 37 yards out for the first points in the game.
His weakness is low kicks.
High snap. Kick is up. And the kick is good. Gary says that because he had a low kick blocked that led to overtime in Baton Rouge a few weeks ago. That's the end of the first. Huge drive for Alabama. They went from their own 5 and got the field goal. We'll return to Bryant-Denny Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. Steel, the signature industry in the state of Alabama, and the symbol of one of college football's fiercest rivalries, Auburn versus Alabama.
Steps up the pocket. Big Robert Johnson, touchdown, Auburn! Go crazy, Cadillac! Go crazy! Tigers! 3 in a row over the Alabama Crimson Tide. Auburn with a whooping. Hope you don't need to use the woodshed anytime soon, folks. The Auburn Tigers are going to win their 5th in a row. That's your ball game, folks. 6 in a row.
Auburn versus Alabama. This is the Iron Bowl. 73rd version of the Iron Bowl. On your left, it's Nick Saban's second year as a head coach at Alabama. Tommy Tuberville very famously held up 4 fingers and a thumb, and the index finger on his other hand indicates 6 in a row. Lee Tiffin will kick off after the 37-yard field goal. Mario Fannin and Tristan Davis are the deep men. We're underway with the start of the second quarter. This will be Tristan Davis at the 10. And that's about it. He gets out to the 20-yard line, and it'll be first down and 10 for the Auburn Tigers. And Gary, you said a while ago they don't come from behind so well, but they really don't come from ahead. They won't have to worry about that.
Well, I get myself in trouble sometimes doing that stuff. You know, what's interesting to me is both teams, and I try not to go with the obvious, but sometimes you got to talk about turnovers. Nobody wants them, but I think they come at it from both ends. Alabama believes they can't lose this game unless they help Auburn, and Auburn knows if they beat themselves with turnovers, they have no chance.
They scored at the end of an 11-play, 76-yard drive. And here is Cody Burns, play action. Back to throw, looks deep left side. Double coverage, Rashad Johnson comes over to help Kareem Jackson. And the senior from Sulligent, Alabama, who has 5 interceptions, almost got number 6.
Number one job of a quarterback when you play against Alabama is controlling the safeties. There's Rashad Johnson. Everyone that plays against Alabama must know where the 2 safeties are. They play very deep. They remind me of the way Reggie Nelson had an impact on Florida 2 years ago when he played safety for him. They get to almost every ball that's thrown more than 25 yards downfield.
Second down and 10. Here's the toss, and Ben Tate, number 44, tries to get around and is out near the 30-yard line. Rashad Johnson, a one-time walk-on from Sulligent, Alabama, had a career game against LSU with 3 interceptions.
He does, and we were talking to Nick about what he looks for in defensive backs, and he said tackling number 1 and ball skills number 2. Look at the ball skills that Rashad Johnson has. He says, I want my defensive backs being in position and then not be able to find the ball. It kills you, those big chunk plays.
His alma mater, the Sulligent Blue Devils, won their playoff game last night.
Oh, you're ready.
Oh, yeah. They beat Clay County. Here's Fannin out to the left. Tries to avoid the contact and the tackle, and he picks up a first down out near the 41-yard line. Dante Hightower, number 30. It'll be a big Sulligent and Leroy for the championship.
You got it. A big-time play here by Cody Burns. He's growing as a quarterback. You know, first time just 3 or 4 games ago, he even played the full game, and now he's growing into an offense. It's his 3rd offense in 2 years, and you can see his potential. I'm sure Alabama's worried about him running, so anytime he completes a pass, it's a huge bonus.
Now for the season, he's hitting 55%. Started the season behind Chris Todd, a junior college transfer. Todd had shoulder problems and was very ineffective. Here's Burns on 1st and 10. Handoff. Tate. Well, Cody Burns out of Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Well, it looked like the spread was made for Cody Burns. Everybody, all the Auburn fans said, oh, this is going to be great. The way he runs and throws. We bring in Franklin. We run the spread. We're going to look like all these other teams we see on TV on Saturday night scoring all these points. Too much of a culture shock. Did not work for Auburn. They had to go back.
See how his numbers have improved in the last 3 games. It's 2nd down and 7 out of the spread. Alabama shows blitz. They come. That's Cody Burns, and it'll be 3rd down.
See, Alabama is playing this formation. Anytime Auburn goes shotgun near, they call shotgun near, you got the back with the tight end, okay? Alabama's going to sell out to the run. They do not believe they got to stop the run first. You can see Rashad Johnson up there, the safety's up in on the play. Anytime shotgun, tight end, and running back on the same side, Alabama goes as a running play.
He's quite a story. He was a walk-on, not offered any Division I scholarships. Came here and earned one. He is one of 9 scholarship seniors who play for Alabama. 3rd and 6.
It's an illegal formation. It will not count.
Oh, dear.
Too many men in the backfield.
Dante Hightower was flying.
I don't know exactly how you say it. Maybe not enough men at the line of scrimmage or too many men in the backfield, but it was an illegal formation. There it is.
I'll go either way.
Yep.
I'm amphibious.
Yeah, you do go. Yes, I know that. Well, you can't see one guy out of the picture, but 5 people were in the backfield that time. You need 7 on the line of scrimmage.
4th down, the penalty is declined. Clinton Durst, who's had 2 very effective punts, is on for the 3rd time. And Javier Arenas this time moves up near the 20-yard line.
Well, will they do the rugby or will they do the pop-up?
Well, let's see. I'm guessing rugby. Yes. Wisdom of the ages.
Yep.
Bad punt.
Shank rug. Now give that. See, that won't show up on Arenas' stats, but give those stats and great field position to Javier Arenas right there.
20-yard punt. Well, people care a lot about this game, don't you think?
I think so, too.
Log on to CBSSports.com for the latest news and expert analysis leading up to the SEC Championship game. We've got every angle covered, including a live stream of the game itself. It's all exclusively at CBSSports.com. While we were away.
Whoa. Clear cream on the official there.
And that's Bobby Morrow. And watch Tommy Tuberville.
Oh, yeah, he's working him, isn't he? Tommy keeps it in perspective. But when you're 5 and 6, there's no perspective from Auburn fans, is it? Alabama's got to feel great. They only got 3 points, but their drive started on the 7 and the 4.
And here's John Parker Wilson on 1st down. Across the middle, flags are down. This could be illegal contact, holding, pass interference, all kinds of options here.
Yeah.
Chris Evans, number 59, was in the neighborhood.
Well, it looked like they had a delay route going that time. Chris Evans had man-to-man coverage, and he looked like he grabbed him.
Well, that's on the other side of the field.
Holding, defense 39. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Ball across the line of scrimmage, so it'll be an automatic 1st down.
That was a shot of Brad Smelly, the other tight end on the play. And, we talked about the 2 tight ends, but Smelly comes in as a kind of a passing tight end, just a true freshman, has worked his way into this lineup.
Smelly, who grew up in Tuscaloosa, is the younger brother of the starting quarterback of the South Carolina Gamecocks. They were hammered by Clemson today.
Paul Rhodes, defensive coordinator, says nobody throws the ball deeper more than Alabama. When will they go deep to Julio Jones?
Not this time. That's the handoff to Mark Ingram. I was a little surprised when he said he thought John Parker Wilson threw it greater vertically than Matthew Stafford.
Well, he doesn't mean he's right. He just said it. Okay, well, John Parker does throw a nice deep ball. Not taking anything away from him, but throwing to that guy turns out well. You know what John Parker does is he's smart with the deep ball. He establishes where the safety is, and that's why he's been well coached, and a senior quarterback is a guy you can trust to throw the ball deep.
You see 8 touchdowns, but only 5 interceptions. 4th down, 2nd down, and 11. John Parker Wilson, a little bit of pressure, and it's incomplete. Looks like McFadden might have got a hand on it. Walt McFadden. Chatting with Nick Walker.
Yeah, you know what I like about what Auburn is doing here is, and I think it's the only way to play Alabama. We saw it early when Kentucky tried to do it to them, and I think, Ole Miss tries it, LSU tried it. You must go man-to-man against their receivers. And I think Auburn, as they've gotten healthier in the secondary, is challenging the Alabama receivers, and I think they only really fear one guy, Julio Jones.
3rd and 11.
They got Jones if they want him.
Oh, do they ever. He goes right. There he is. Wow, the defender playing way off of him.
Get that.
Yeah.
Didn't get that one at all. They had him. I could have thrown it to him from up here in the booth. This was so obvious. You can't cover anybody 8 yards off like this. So you got to give ground. You can't stand still. And Powers would do a better job on a young, tall receiver by getting up underneath him and try to jam him on the line of scrimmage. That basically they conceded a first down, did Auburn.
Gerard Powers is 5'10". Julio Jones checks in at 6'4", and that's a 15-yard gain. First down and 10. Hand off, Coffee. Nice move. Here goes Coffee. Touchdown, Alabama. Yards as he scampers down the sidelines and in for 6. And Lee Tippin is on for the extra point. Ryan Selman snaps it back, and out of P.J. Fitzgerald hold. Alabama goes up 10-zip.
Well, I'll tell you, tight ends right there. Let me put him in linebacker. Chris Evans, watch number 59 get caught up in the trash. Right there, Evans gets caught up. He takes a poor angle, get to the corner, and then Etheridge gets caught up with a bad angle. You get your linebacker and your safety in a bad angle. That's worth 7 points. That's bad defense for Auburn, and Alabama's got it going again.
CBS. 10-0, 10:28 to go before the first half break. It was Glenn Coffey's 41-yard run. Young man who has really had a breakout season. Very religious young guy. And over 1,100 yards now in this 2008 season. Here's the kick, and it's taken by Mario Fannin. Glenn Coffey continues to climb up the all-time rushing list. See the lead, single season lead held by Bobby Humphrey, and then Sean Alexander and Shot Williams. And Glenn Coffey has now moved in behind Sean Alexander's 1998 season, and he needs only 6 more to tie him.
Well, we talked about tight ends and Andre Smith as creating a pressure point, but I'll tell you that time Drew Davis and Travis McCall did it on the other side, and that's been the story. Alabama's been running to their right successfully.
On first down and 10 from the 24, Cody Burns. Robert Dunn starts in motion and goes back to the right. Here's the handoff to Ben Tate. He comes right. Arenas with a terrific job of fighting off the block and going down to make the tackle. Let's spend another moment with Tim Brando.
All right, Vern, back to Lubbock we go. Texas Tech and Baylor. It's now 14-13 game. Barron Batch scores from a yard out. On the injury front, Michael Crabtree is still nursing that ankle. Graham Harrell also been dinged today. And Florida State added a field goal. It's 14-6 in the Swamp in Tallahassee. Back to you.
Yeah, it looked that way, didn't it? Like Gainesville West. Second down and 7, 9:41 to go. Here's Burns, comes near side, incomplete. Intended for Rod Smith, number 80.
This is not looking good if you're from Tommy Tuberville's perspective or an Auburn fan. They looked so far in this game, even though they've controlled field position, completely overmatched.
Cody Burns, rough start. He's 3 of 10 for only 30 yards.
Well, you should watch Shad Johnson direct this defense from his safety position. He is something else.
Burns nailed. Eric Anders, number 32.
Again, aggressive defense from the secondary, led by their quarterback of that defense, Shad Johnson, watch this guy direct everybody around. Changing the defense, telling them what's coming, and then come up and cover his man. Man-to-man coverage, and that allows Nick Saban to bring an extra guy when he plays man. And Eric Anders came in there with a stunt up front. Aggressive nickel defense from Nick Saban in Alabama.
Here's Clinton Durst on for the fourth punt. They go for the block. And there's contact, but no flag. And Arenas has it at the 30-yard line.
Well, that was a good punt.
52-yard punt. 6 on the return. Alabama defense shining in the early going. CBS Sports coverage of the Home Depot SEC continues after this word from your local station. 8:42 to go first half. Alabama with a 10-0 lead in quest of their 12th victory against 0 defeats.
Look at this, coming out with empty on first down.
And Glenn Coffey is top of the screen, wide right. Yeah. 4-man rush. John Parker Wilson too high. Intended for Julio Jones over the middle.
Yeah, not bad though. Little high, delivered it strong. Great protection. Ball just sailed on him slightly, and Julio could not go up and snag that one. Interesting call on first down. Now, I think it's, if you're Auburn here, what are you thinking? And I'm thinking, we got to bring out some sandbags or something. We got to survive this flood here early in this game. We got to get this game to the second half.
They trail by 10. Well play, left side. Tight end leads the way. It's Coffey. Zach Etheridge with the tackle, but Coffey picks up 18.
Watch this technique by Marlon Davis, the right guard on this play. He comes right here, comes around, and logs in the defensive end. Watch this technique. Pulls around and then logs in Coleman. That is just fantastic technique by an offensive guard that knows exactly what he's supposed to do. Come around, read the defensive end, follow, and then Coffey says, God, does it get any easier than this?
Marlon Davis. It's really a terrific offensive line. Here's play fake. John Parker Wilson lobs it out to his tight end. This is Mick Walker, one of the 9 seniors out of Brundage, Alabama. And Glenn Coffey's numbers for the day, he started the day with 1,091 yards, and he's adding to it in heaps.
Yeah, he is, and I know he thinks the same thing we're thinking. This offensive line is so good. If I just do my job, I don't have to do anything spectacular. Just be a normal Alabama running back, and I can do big things with this offensive line. Look at how they flank teams with these tight ends quickly. Shift from one side to the other side, get the tight ends, flank them, and change up that defense.
Coffey cuts inside and moves inside the 40. Michael Goggins, number 49, with the stop.
Well, we talked about being a little slippery burn, but Coffey seems to be having no problem out there. Watch this. Plant, skip, and cut. That's very nice technique by Coffey.
3rd and 1. Coffey over 100 yards already. Midway through the second.
Well,
Baron Huber's in there as the blocking back now.
You know you're going to get one-on-one. You dare just try to go deep here to Julio Jones?
He's wide right. Motion.
Brought him off.
Senderick Marks, number 94.
Could have been Alabama flinched on this play also.
He's making that case.
Dead ball.
Yep.
False start. 78 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That's Mike Johnson up front. Well, it's Andre Smith at left tackle. Mike Johnson left guard. Antoine Caldwell at center. Marlon Davis, number 76. Interesting now, Drew Davis, number 79. Earlier in the season, Nick Saban talking about his offensive line. And he said, right tackle.
Yeah.
But now Drew Davis, by the coaching staff, has been voted Offensive Player of the Game the last 2 weeks. And Jim McElwain telling us yesterday he's really playing pretty well.
Smelly back in the game, 17, going motion right there again.
John Parker Wilson. No flag. Gerard Powers, number 8. It'll be 4th down.
Well, Alabama gave Auburn a big break here on that 3rd and very short, and then they jumped the short route and got through it. Let's see if it happens. Julio Jones. Well, he went right through Julio Jones' back on this one. I don't know. Kind of went around him also. It's hard for me to say whether it didn't look like bad interference. Is there such a thing as
good
not
interference?
Bad, good interference?
On 4th down, P.J. Fitzgerald comes to the near side. It's taken at the 11.
Yes, he slipped.
Yeah,
the
sure
top
was.
of the grass is slick. When you plant, you're okay, but you can see a couple slips there.
So time taken with 6:09 to go first half. It's 10-zip Alabama. Tommy Tuberville's in his 10th season at Auburn, 14th year as a head coach. We asked him if he was on the spot. Take a look at his highs and lows in his career. SEC championship in his 2nd season. 2003, they finished 8-5. More on that in a moment. In 2004, 13-0, and they did not get to the BCS championship game. He was named Coach of the Year. He's won 6 in a row in this series, but they have lost 4 consecutive games. They're 5-6, and earlier this week, we asked Tommy, do you feel like you're on the spot? He said, no, I don't. But I didn't feel like I was in the spot in 2003 either. That was the season of the infamous Jetgate. Right side. And just a quick refresher on that one. They were struggling, and the then president of Auburn and the then athletic director got on Bobby Louder's private plane and in the dark of night flew to Louisville and had a meeting with former offensive coordinator Bobby Petrino. And when news got out, there was an immediate reaction favorable to Tuberville. He survived that. I don't think he's in trouble. You know, it's a crazy business.
No, I
didn't think Sylvester Croom was in trouble this morning either.
Well, 47-0 is not easy to overcome.
I understand.
Sometimes.
But 8 wins last year should not be forgotten. 2nd down. Now, Sylvester Croom, if you did not hear, resigned as the head coach at Mississippi State. Announced this morning, 21-38, and they got into the bowl last year with 8 wins, but they were hammered. Matter of fact, one of the lowlights for Tony Franklin as the offensive coordinator for Auburn was an earlier season game. The final was
3-2.
3-2.
I actually believe this is the critical point in the game for Auburn. Remember, Alabama gets the ball to start the 2nd half. They've got to take some time off the clock. Alabama could get it 2 straight times and blow this game open.
3rd and 7, blitz coming. Burns back. Incomplete. It was across the middle. Intended for Montez Billings, number 84. And a little high, so the Crimson Tide's going to get it back with 4.5 to go.
I thought this was absolutely imperative that Auburn find a way. As you see the crossing route, this isn't even really close. This ball is thrown too hard, too high, and a little bit behind. And now Alabama has a chance. They're going to get great field position, and they're going to get the ball here probably 2 times in a row.
5th punt already for Clinton Durst and the Auburn Tigers. Here's the rugby kick again. Arenas chases it near side. That's a very good one.
Beautiful.
46-yard punt for Durst. 4:25 to go first half. Alabama by 10. All right, Tim, thank you. And, of course, we will see Alabama and Florida next Saturday afternoon. SEC championship game in Atlanta. John Parker Wilson, Hoover High School, suburban Birmingham. Grew up as an Alabama fan and living a dream this season in his final year. 1st down and 10. And off left side, it's Mark Ingram, number 22, the true freshman. And let's go down to Tracy Wolfson.
Guys, Glenn Coffey came off the field after that last drive. He was limping a bit on the sideline. They taped his right ankle. He took some pain medicine. As of now, no word on whether he'll go back in. He's still on the sideline, but keep an eye on it, especially with these slick conditions out here.
All right, Trace, thank you. Coffey and Upchurch. Upchurch is the number 3 running back. And there you see Coffey's updated stats and measured against the opposition. On second down, Ingram.
Oh, great stop.
Yes. That was Josh Bynes, a middle linebacker, number 17 right there.
Now, we kind of thought that the pressure was on the Auburn offense to get out of this half. But the Auburn defense can help out and do the exact same thing. You know, it has that feel of a game that Alabama's in complete control, but it's just 10-0. I mean, it feels like Auburn can't do anything, but it's not a blowout, obviously.
Mark Ingram splits wide to the right on 3rd and 7. He's at the very top of the screen. Out of the spread. 4-man rush. John Parker Wilson steps up and is caught. It'll be 4th down.
Yeah. You know, great coverage that time. Let's give credit to this Auburn secondary. You know, they were banged up early in the year, but now that they're healthy, they're matching up pretty good here. You can see it. They got the 2 deep safeties. They're just playing what they call a base cover 2 zone. Nothing fancy. Everything just kind of taking it short. Had a throw to the top of the screen maybe, but John Parker Wilson had his eyes to the left side. There was nothing there.
Well, we talked about Javier Arenas and his punt return ability. Robert Dunn has 1 return for a touchdown this year. He's back for Auburn and is perched at the 31-yard line. P.J. Fitzgerald. Good one. Fair catch taken by Dunn at the 27-yard line. 42-yard punt, nothing on the return. 2:19 remaining in the first half. Next Saturday at noon Eastern. Another renewal of the traditional rivalry, the Army and the Navy. They'll get together at noon, and that one is always fun to do. 10-0. 2:19 to go, first half.
Well, Auburn has got to find something. I mean, right now they need a first down, but they got to find something, and quickly.
Brad Lester is on. Did not play last week. And number 1 is not going to get the handoff. Cody Burns shakes the sack and slides out at the 36-yard line. Brandon Fanny, number 98, had Burns in his grasp and blew the tackle.
Well, Fanny is doing his assignment exactly the way he's taught, and Cody Burns does a nice job of using, you know, Fanny's leverage against him almost, spitting right out of that tackle. Perfectly defense, but a great play by Burns.
2nd down and 3. Tristan Davis is in the backfield with Lester. Lester goes left. He's got a first down. Auburn across the 40 with 1:37 to go. Clock will stop as they move the chains.
Well, one of the things that Auburn probably didn't spend a lot of time with the spread in the offseason is finding a fullback. Tristan Davis is a tailback playing fullback right there, number 9. Does a nice job here fitting inside and making that crease for Lester to run that ball.
Just a little bit of a sense of urgency from the crowd now with 1:20 to go. Here's Burns, left side, incomplete. Ali Sharif, number 26, was there defensively.
Nothing stands out to me more about Alabama's secondary every time I watch them is how aggressive they are. So now if I'm a play caller, and you know, you got to be careful if you're a play caller for Auburn because you haven't had a lot of practice or experience at quarterback. What do? You got to do some double moves against them. They fight on every short play.
On 2nd down, blitz coming from the corner. Burns keeps it, cuts up the middle, and he's going to have another first down as he reaches the 44-yard line.
Plenty of time. 2 timeouts left for Auburn.
First down, Auburn.
Brad Lester with the key block on that run of 13 yards.
13 yards on the play.
1:06 to go. Burns back, left side, caught to the 35. Down to the 32-yard line. Catch was made by Rod Smith. That's a gain of 12 as Fanny makes the tackle. 57 seconds to go. First down 10.
Plenty of comfortable time for Auburn.
2 timeouts left. Here's Burns again. He's to the 29 with 45 seconds to go.
Yeah, and they'll take timeout right here. Will Tuberville and his Auburn team with a very successful drive, basically running the quarterback.
Time taken with the score, 10-0. "44 seconds away from the Geico halftime report. Lots going off on this rivalry Saturday. We'll go back to Tim and Spencer in our New York studios. 44 seconds to go. The Auburn Tigers, look at this. Inside the 20-yard line, they are dead last of 119 teams in Division I.
Yeah, I know they're not there yet, but it just shows you when you start to call plays for Auburn what you're thinking. How do you get in there and score a touchdown?
They also will use a new field goal kicker today. He's never tried a field goal in a game this year. There's the pass, and it'll be 3rd down at the 24-yard line. They have decided to leave Wes Byram on the bench. Now, I'm told he's injured somewhat, but he's also 11 for 19 for the year. So if and when they get an opportunity, it's going to be a fellow named Morgan Hull, walk-on sophomore. On 3rd down, Burns for the draw play. Now then, 14 seconds to go.
That completed pass really took the strategy away from Auburn. They didn't want to blow their last time out, but it was 3rd and short, and they knew they had to run the ball. So now they had to take a timeout for the field goal.
5 seconds to go. So when we come back, you'll meet Morgan Hull. Number 37 is a walk-on sophomore from Decatur, Alabama. His name is Morgan Hull. No pressure on this kick. He's not attempted a field goal at Auburn in 2 years. His first try will come from 40 in the Iron Bowl. He might make a memory with this one. 40-yard attempt. Clayton Crowfoot is the holder, and Robert Shiver will snap it back. How about that?
Dick Saban took a timeout to freeze the kicker.
I wondered. It looked like it was perfect. I never saw any signal from the officials.
Yep. That's exactly why they stopped the guy. I just hate that rule.
I do too.
Just hate it.
I'll be darned.
He's waiting. He's waiting. Last second timeout, and that's why the officials under the bars did not signal good field goal.
It looked perfect, and I waited and waited, and obviously didn't see Saban.
See, I don't really mind that the coach can call timeout. I just wish the umpire or the head official on the field called timeout so we wouldn't have a play run. You know, if you call timeout, you call timeout, but it should be one of the coach people that don't allow a snap.
So Morgan Hull
going to have to do it again. No, it's his second kick in the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, you're right. No pressure on this one. Officially, this is from 39 yards out. And it's blocked. And it is blocked. Brandon Dederick. Well, chalk that one up to Nick Saban.
Yep. Couldn't have worked out any better if you're Alabama. Find a way to make a play. And Dederick looks like he makes a play.
Number 95, Bobby Greenwood's also up in the neighborhood.
Yep, it was 95.
Let's go down to Tracy Wilson with Tommy Tuberville.
Coach, it looked like you may have found something offensively on that final drive, and then the block kick. What happened there?
Well, we've had about 3 drops. That's been our problem. You know, if you can't throw and catch, you can't play against a good defense. That gets them off the running game. We can get our running game go a little bit, but we got to catch the ball when we throw it. We caught it on that last drive.
Speaking of the running game, Alabama had having no trouble running the ball. How do you slow them down?
Well, we just got to tackle. There's a couple times we missed tackles. Then they got the outside on us on the one long run. We'll be fine. We played well enough on defense to win the first half. We just didn't do anything on offense.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Tracy, thank you. Brandon Dederick got a hand on the field goal attempt after Nick Saban called timeout to ice him. Let's go back to Tim and Spencer in New York.